It's the wind out here.
You're breaking.
Before the press conferences even start. I mean, we could talk for 45 minutes just about how atrocious the defense is.
He's just picking the big guys. Jordan Mailata, he's huge. He'll be good later on. Josh Sweat, he's tall as hell and strong. Let's get him. We'll figure him out. It's working.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on DSM Media. We're live as on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and bear with us here. The mics are a little off today, a little breezy in sunny Orlando, Florida. It might only get to 65 today. Sorry about all you Northerners there with all the snow that's supposed to come today. But as always, live Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Make sure you hit that share, follow, subscribe button on all those platforms. You know the drill. Smash those buttons. Continue to help us grow this show and this brand. And this brand is always brought to you by DSM Media is always brought to you by Manscaped, the leader in men's grooming products, the GOAT and below the waist maintenance. Check them out, manscaped.com. Promo code TRENDING at checkout, get you 20% off and free shipping. Plus, lets them know that I sent you from DSM Media. It's Overreaction Monday, our favorite day of the week here on Trending in the AM. Super excited after the big, massive 20-16 win of the Eagles yesterday. I'm joined by my main men here. I got Mark Moschatelli on my side here, and I got my man Jason Voorhees down below. Welcome, gentlemen. Are we ready to overreact to the Super Bowl run we are about to go on, ladies and gentlemen? I know you guys are ready to talk all about that. Again, it's Overreaction Monday. The point of the day is to have a little fun, not, get deep dive into the X's and O's and the analytics. We're having fun on Overreaction Monday. It does not mean it's the set in stone predictions that we are making, but we got lots to talk about. Mark, how you doing this morning, and Happy New Year to you?
I'm doing wonderful. Happy New Year to you as well. Enjoy the sun down here. And Jason, I don't know where you're at. I got snow all over where I'm at, so I'm not looking forward to shoveling a little bit this afternoon.
Where are you at?
I'm down in Gloucester County in New Jersey. Are you Jersey?
Okay,
guy?
well, no, I'm in King of Prussia, so
I think you'll be okay. Hopefully, I'm not. Yesterday was like 60 degrees, and now it's snow, and it's not cool. It's not cool. I'm not ready for it.
Yeah, that's how people get sick.
Oh, I've been sick. I've had 2 COVID tests negative. I'm living off of Dayquil. It's been brutal. It's been brutal. It's 4 days.
You know what would solve that problem, Mark?
What's that?
85-degree weather and sun all day long, like I've had for the last 5 or 6
right.
days.
Let's get to Overreaction Monday. Let me overreact just a little bit here.
Mark's ready to jump right into it.
The Philadelphia Eagles are the most dangerous football team in the NFL right now, and they are probably the hottest team going into the playoffs. And I pity the team that has to face them in round one. I think they could steal a game. Unless it's the Cowboys, I'm not too sure, because they'll go back to back, and that kind of scares me a little bit. But they are the most dangerous team in the NFL right now. So that's my overreaction for Monday.
That's a fantastic overreaction. I was going to ask you guys that as a question, but you jumped right at it. Jason, is he right? As an overreaction statement, or even not an overreaction statement, are the Eagles a dangerous football team heading into the playoffs?
I mean, I got to be honest. I have not. I've been waiting for the shoe to drop and me to become a non-believer. But I'm actually believing in this team. Like it's crazy. Like, and you know me, I'm usually Mr. Negativity. And I have to absolutely agree with Mark. I think I think the Eagles definitely can. I'm not. Listen, I know it's overreaction Monday. It would be an easy overreaction to say they're going to the Super Bowl. Could that be possible? I mean, we
Absolutely.
saw a Giants team back in 2000. I believe it was 2011, or was it 2007? I think when they beat the Patriots. Right, that team snuck in. They barely made the playoffs. I think they made it on the last day at the last hour of playoff seeding, and they went in and upset the undefeated New England Patriots to win that Super Bowl. So it most definitely could happen. I definitely see them, being able to steal a game at least in round one. Even if it is the Cowboys, I agree that it's tough to win back to back, but I don't think this game now is going to matter because both Eagles and Dallas have locked up a seed. I would not even be I would not be surprised if they start Minshew. I don't know what your guys' thoughts on that
Yeah,
are.
I mean, real quick before we get into the Minshew part of it, you guys are saying about the seeding and all. I did find this. This guy here, he's been putting out some great work lately. Dennis Selman. I don't even know who he is, but this screen here basically shows you guys where we're at. So over on the left here, if the Rams win and New Orleans wins, the rest of the games don't matter. And then this is how the playoff. We actually move up to the 6th seed. So if you can see under the 4th seed, it's almost dead set that Dallas is going to be the 4th seed in the playoffs. But there is 2 different scenarios where Dallas can bump up to the 3 seed or the 2 seed. The Eagles, as you can see, there's only 2 scenarios that can play out where the Eagles move from the 7th seed to the 6th seed. So this kind of gives you a little idea how it plays out. Dallas actually has more to play for than we do at this point because Dallas can move up to the 3 seed with certain things happening, and San Francisco would be a much easier first-round opponent for them than the Arizona Cardinals. If they move all the way up to the 2 seed, playing the Eagles again, a much easier matchup than playing the Arizona Cardinals, who it seems like that the most likely scenario for them. The Eagles, on the other hand, most likely are playing Tampa Bay, whether they're the 6th or the 7th seed. There's a few little scenarios where they play Arizona or the Rams or Cowboys, but most likely it doesn't affect the Eagles much. So there's almost more of a chance for the Cowboys to have more meaning behind this game on Sunday than the Eagles. So, yeah, thank you. Great. I love that graphic. That is not by me. Check out the name at the bottom of the screen there, at Dennis Selman 33 on Twitter. He's been putting some really great graphics together on Twitter. Just started following him a few days ago. So guys, the non-overreaction portion of it, does the game mean more to Dallas then when you see this, or is it still the odds are so slim for all the things to fall into place for Dallas that it really means nothing to anybody?
Well,
I think that makes sense. I'm sorry.
I think with them flexing that game this Saturday, they're not going to know where they're at. So I don't think they have any choice but to play to win.
Okay.
Where we're at, like, it doesn't look like we can move much from where we're at. And it does look
even
like
if we do move, it still leaves us with Tampa either way.
Yeah, it's and we can't get a 5 seed. So it's honestly, it doesn't matter either way for us. It looks like, but I've always, my thought process is always, you never lay down and not try to win a game. But it probably be smart, especially if Hurts' ankle is still a little suspect, although it didn't look like it yesterday. Maybe you do start Minshew on the game, or maybe you do start putting in guys like JJAW on more reps and kind of rest some of your guys.
I mean, I actually agree. I think resting the guys is very important for the Eagles, more so than Dallas. Like I said, Dallas still has that slight chance at that 2nd seed, which would be very big for them, or even moving up to the 3rd seed there. But like I said, Jalen Hurts' ankle is still not 100%. I mean, he looked great yesterday. We're going to talk about Jalen Hurts in a bit here. But You still want to rest him. Maybe Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson. Maybe you don't rest everybody, but maybe those those older veteran players get a break, get a blow, or you play your stars in the first half and then you bench them after the first half. Maybe that's the way you go. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think it's almost a sure thing in my mind that you don't play Jalen Hurts, your full group of guys, 4 quarters next week. I know you want to play to win the game always, but I think that's a very opportune moment to give these guys a little rest into the playoffs. Jason?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly at this point, I'm the kind of person, if you're in this playoff, already it's locked up. I mean, I would rest everybody. I don't want to hurt. To me, the playoff is the most important thing, and I get the whole thing about chemistry and teams that a lot of times rest their players end up coming out flat. But I don't buy that. I think
well, I mean, the Eagles come out flat every single game anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was kind of actually getting to that. They did once again come out with a slow start, and I actually had said that I didn't think they were going to get that fixed. I just think that's something within the offense that they're. I don't know if it's the game plan. I don't know what it is, but it just seems like Sirianni doesn't necessarily stick to the what we should do from Jump Street. What's this? George is saying.
George, yeah. So if you're playing Hurts even for the first half, you got to play everybody. You can't rest Kelsey or. I think that's a very fair statement. You either play everybody for a certain amount of time, or you play nobody for a certain amount of time. I think that's fair. I mean, a couple guys you kind of have to play because of injuries, like Nate Herbig would have to play if he's healthy, or Opeda, stuff like that. Guys that are going to play because you don't have 10 backup offensive linemen to play. Like Jalen Reagor would play, Devontae Smith would not, stuff like that. But Kelsey, Lane Johnson, stuff like that. If Hurts is in there, you keep them. Mailata, you keep them in there. I agree with that, George.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could. I guess you could play it like a preseason game where you start the starters maybe for a series or two, and then you pull them. I mean, I guess my concern with that is you could have an injury. I mean, you could have an injury in the playoff game like that. I don't know. I guess there's two ways of thinking about it. Like Mark said that his opinion is you play them. I mean, I guess there's probably pluses and minuses to both sides, but I just don't want anybody getting hurt. Because to me,
I know Mark said that Jalen Hurts didn't look like bad at all yesterday, and I'm going to make an overreaction statement about that in a second. But there was 2 plays late in the game where he kind of got up gingerly after he was down on the ground. Like, I don't know if he was just being extra cautious, but I was a little concerned there at the end of the game. I'm like, maybe, because he looked fantastic. And my overreaction statement today, not that we're going to the Super Bowl. I mean, I might say that anyway, just for hell of it. But yesterday, in my opinion, was the best Jalen Hurts has ever looked as a passer and as an NFL quarterback in his short 19, 20 games he's played. I thought he looked efficient. I thought he looked confident. He looked fantastic as a quarterback yesterday. I know his stats don't jump off the page. He was, where was his stats there? 17 to 26, 214 yards. I mean, it's not like out of control crazy, no touchdowns. He didn't have a rushing touchdown, anything like that. But the eye test, which we always talk about the analytics, I go by the eye test. This is an overreaction statement to an extent. He looked good, but he looked fantastic to my eye test yesterday as a quarterback.
I think he looked like Randall Cunningham yesterday. I
know you said. I saw you tweet that out. Yep.
He did things that Randall used to do: evade tacklers, scramble, throw the ball deep. That throw to Greg Ward Jr. was a quintessential Randall Cunningham execution. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And hopefully this game kind of helps cement the fact that he is the starter for next year, because I do believe he deserves another year. And those 3 first-round picks go to the defense. So our head coach in waiting, Jonathan Gannon, has a little bit more to work with next year.
I'll honestly say, we've always, a lot of people have been saying he was going to be the quarterback next year by default. He deserves and has earned that right now, not just by default, but from his play on the field. Jason, was that one of the best performances you could see from Jalen Hurts yesterday?
Unfortunately, I didn't get to see the game because I worked, which you knew. I,
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know.
I saw the highlights. I think Jalen Hurts. I agree because honestly, it's not about stats at this point. It's about Hurts becoming a better passer per se. We already know that running is his strength, and I was happy to see that he was actually used in that capacity again because obviously the game before he only had like I believe 2 or 3 rushing attempts.
Yeah.
Now I know that a lot of that was because Miles was in there. I had said kind of before the game that that was going to be a key. That even though Miles was out, Hurts would probably be relied on more heavily as far as in the running game, and I'm glad that that came to fruition because the running part of his game is what makes him a good quarterback. Like obviously we know that there's a lot of things that he's deficient on and he's worked on those. Obviously he's not where he needs to be yet, but I think we've seen a maturation, in his game as far as, like Mark said, like he's seeing the field better. He's definitely going through his progressions better. I mean, you can see it. He's more confident. He's quicker on his reads. That's the things that we've actually, been saying that he was struggling with. I know people continue to pound the drum on the arm strength, but I wish that people would just give that a rest because he has the arm strength. It's not about that. It's about being late. And he's now spreading the ball around. Like I'm looking at the stat line. Goddard had 6 catches, Smith had 3, Scott had 4, Ward had 2, and Kez had 2. Now I know that's not a lot of options, but there was, 5 guys with multiple catches. So he's obviously getting the ball to more people instead of like honing in on one. And that's very important to me because I think it's showing that he's starting to get it. He's starting to come around. So, me, I've always been on Hurts, and I'm still, I'm excited to see it. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, "See, I told you so." Because
you just did. No, I mean, I think it's pretty clear that he's getting more and more comfortable. Nick Sirianni's getting more and more comfortable. But still, the number one problem on this team heading into the playoffs. I'm going to be quiet. Yeah, I know. But it's Overreaction Monday, George. That we're here to have fun today, not get serious about it. But to get serious about it, there still is the big elephant in the room. The biggest issue on this team, bigger issue than the defense, bigger issue than anybody on the offense. It's the overall team and their lack of starting quickly. They're how they fall behind. We most likely are facing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Tom Brady's in the first round of the playoffs. You cannot have starts like we've had the last 5 weeks, twice against Washington, the Giants, the Jets, Super Bowl, baby. That's right. Now, you can't have those kind of starts against Tampa Bay. Tom Brady will have them up 24-0 at halftime if we come out like that. There's no way you could do that. So, Mark, I don't know if you want to answer this or if you have an idea on why does this team, continually come out so slow to start a football game? Because it's mind-boggling the difference between the first quarter and change into the second quarter to the second half of the football game. Every single game, it's 2 completely different teams.
Yeah, Sirianni again and really adjust very, very well based on whatever their outcome was in that first half. It's almost as if they've been relying on that, and I don't know if that's a great idea to do. The offense, they have been starting slow. I'm more concerned about the defense just letting up, the first 2 drives, like letting up points, and you constantly have to dig yourself out of the hole. And like you said, if you're going to play Tampa Bay, you're going to play the Cowboys. Rams, I'm not too concerned about. I think they're a fraud. But if you're going to play those teams and dig that hole, listen, man, you don't want the reigning Super Bowl champion up 14-0 in the first quarter of a playoff game. That's not going to end well. It's not going to end well. And they have,
especially when he's the greatest quarterback of all time.
What's that?
I said, especially when he's the greatest quarterback of all time. You can't let him get up like that. It's for waiting to happen.
I can't even hate that guy anymore. I mean, he's just so fantastic. I mean, what he did yesterday, his wide receiver stripped in the middle of the game, walked onto the field, and left mid-game, and he still came back and beat the Jets. And, like, it didn't even faze him. The guy's a bad dude, man. He's a bad dude. I wish he was an Eagle. He's not only the best quarterback, he's probably the greatest football player of all time at this point in his career. And I don't see him slowing up. I don't. Whatever his magic elixir is, if he could pass it to me, I'd love to have it because, man, that guy doesn't age either.
Jason, I mean, do you know how to get that magic elixir from Tom Brady? I mean, you're just as old too. You could use it too, right?
Well, Tom Brady, I mean, I love the guy. I'm with Mark. The guy just every year he does things that's like, it just makes you, your mind is blown at what he's doing at his age. I mean, what he's doing on a football field, I wish I could do that at the supermarket level. You know what I mean? Nah. But no, for real, honestly, I actually like the fact that we're going to be facing Tampa Bay. I'm probably the lone person that's going to say that. But I honestly think that the Philadelphia Eagles are in Tom Brady's head, especially after 2017.
Wow, that's an overreaction statement if you can get one there. I'm telling
you, because if you looked at what happened after that game when he didn't shake Nick Foles' hand, and ever since then, he doesn't shake anybody's hand when he loses. He only goes to the opposite quarterback when he wins. And what does that say about the guy? I mean, yeah, he's great, but that to me, it shows that he's a very poor loser. And if we go up, we face them in round one, I don't care what they say, it will be in his head. He knows that he lost that game. If you think he doesn't, then you're kidding yourself. So, and I know it's not the same team. Yeah, I know. I think that the Eagles have an opportunity, obviously, to be a spoiler. And
I mean, I'm not ready to get to that point just yet. I mean, it is Overreaction Monday. It'll be great to say that, but I'm still sticking to that question and the comment about the slow starts. There's no way we can compete with this Tampa Bay team in a playoff game if that's the matchup. And I think it's 5 out of 7. Different scenarios we are playing Tampa Bay, but I just can't. I can't get behind that. Even without Antonio Brown and even without Chris Godwin on that team, Leonard Fournette, I'm not sure if he's done for the year, but he's been out for a few weeks now. I cannot see the Eagles stopping Gronkowski, stopping Mike Evans and him and Tom Brady. There's just Cameron Brate and Howard, I forget his first name, the other tight end on that team. I mean, they got 3 tight ends that can pick our linebackers apart. There's not one person on this team that can stop Gronkowski at this point. And you saw it again. Gronkowski, just like Tom Brady, just doesn't seem to age. I mean, he just keeps going out there and putting up big numbers year in and year out, game in and game out. So I'm not ready to jump all over that there, Jason. I love it. I love the confidence. It's
Overreaction Monday, right?
Yeah, it is Overreaction Monday, but that's even too far of a overreaction for me. I'd rather say they're going to the Super Bowl than saying they pick apart Tom Brady and the. Did
I say they would pick apart?
Well, you said that they would win. Okay, all right. You said they would win. Okay, but
I said that they're in Tom Brady's head, which that's not an overreaction. That's the truth.
I mean, I agree with what George says here that I think he's over to this point. Winning another Super Bowl away from New England, I think he's completely over the Eagles. I don't think he cares. I don't even think he thinks about the Eagles, until he sees them on the schedule.
That's fair, but that's my opinion.
Hey, that's fine. But still, back to we just went and spent 15 minutes talking about Tom Brady when I asked about Eagles slow starts. So, Jason, where are you on with the slow starts? Why they're having these ultra slow starts week in and week out against bad teams, mind you. If we're talking about how they would do against a slow start against Tampa Bay, how we're having these slow starts against Washington, against the Giants, the Jets. It's not like we're having these slow starts against good teams.
Dude, we've had slow starts since Andy Reid. I mean, it's not anything new to the Eagles. We had slow starts with Doug Peterson. Like, it seems to be an epidemic with this team. I don't know if it's like an organizational philosophy, like that the first 15 plays where they script the plays or whatever, but for some reason, we don't have the capability of just coming out and like, I don't know, like to me, wouldn't it be nice to see them come out on like the first play? I know we say it's cliche to just run the ball. Like obviously with this team, that's their strength. But wouldn't it be wouldn't it be fun to actually see them come out and like instead of run the ball on the first play, do a play action and throw a bomb downfield? Like that to me, we haven't seen that at all yet this year. We probably haven't seen that since maybe 2017, the year we won the Super Bowl. Like the play action, like come out.
Someone brought that up when I was doing the post show yesterday that they script so many of their plays to start a game, and he does not know how to get away from that script. He completes his script no matter what is happening, and then once his script is done, and he gets more into that free flow of calling whatever he feels in the moment, that's when he starts doing well. So I don't know. I've actually never read or heard anything about how much Nick Sirianni scripts before a game. Mark, you were going to say something on that. Mark? Did we lose Mark there?
You were talking play action. You know, for a team that runs long as that or much as they run, for
Jason,
not to use play action.
Jason, can you hear Mark?
And especially down to the goal line.
Froze.
Mark, I think you froze up there, buddy.
I agree. Like a play action should be part of their arsenal.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute you there for a second. I think did you clear up there? No, we can't hear you. You've completely frozen up there, Mark.
Did you get any of that?
Oh, no, okay, we got you now. You froze up really bad there. We did not catch any of what you just said.
Well, you guys have been freezing up on me as well. What I was saying about the play action.
Yeah, we lost him there again. Going deep. It's how we opened the game with Djax. Yeah, exactly. Over aggressive. Yeah, I don't know if the going deep is necessarily the important thing, but just not having such a basic scripted system. You could still run the ball. You could do sweeps. You could do anything, but just not staying to that script for so long seems to be the problem, in my opinion.
Yeah, you just nailed it. Well, no, you just nailed it. I didn't necessarily mean you have to go deep. Right. I was using that as an example. I was just saying that to me would be something that would throw the other team's defense off. They would not be expecting it because people are still saying that Hurts can't do it. So to me, why don't you come out and do something like that? You want to instill confidence in your offense. Do a play like that and hit on it. And imagine what it would be if you came out 7-0 with 20 seconds into the game. I'm just saying, I get it. For a team that's struggling so mightily coming out early, if you came out and you threw a play action pass and you went deep to Devonta Smith and just say you connected on it and it was like a 50-yard pass, even if it's not a touchdown, that's going to show the other defense like, oh, wow, these guys are for real. They're not playing this time. You know what I mean? Like, they're not coming out.
I get the theory.
3 yards into the center.
My problem with it is outside of Devonta Smith, do we even have anybody that we could run that kind of a play with? Quez Watkins, Quez Watkins, to me, he had 2 costly plays yesterday. I mean, he only had 2 catches, but both third down plays that went to him, he planted and stopped short of the third down on stop routes, on comeback routes. That they could have come back and bid, big mistakes there. So Quez Watkins still has room to learn and things to do to get better. Obviously Jalen Reagor, another bust of a game, didn't have a catch, only had 1 target. We don't really have anybody to run that, play action, deep bomb, that flea flicker type play. We just don't have that kind of an offense at this point. And that's my theory.
Jalen Reagor was drafted to be like a guy that it's
dude. I had Jalen Reagor scored a touchdown yesterday. That was the biggest goof of my
freaking frustrating, man, with this guy. God.
All right, let's get back to Mark now. I think you've all cleared up. You got your your stuff there. What were you saying there before you went off the screen there?
Did you get any of that?
No, we did not get anything that you said there.
I was talking about the play action pass. It should be part of their arsenal if they're going to run the ball so damn much, and they should have used it near the goal line when they ran for those touchdowns.
I'd be very weary if a scripted bomb. Hurts may force it. That's a very, very fair concern as well there. Absolutely. All right, so we got another Overreaction Monday statement here from me here. Nick Sirianni should be in the top 3 for Coach of the Year awards at the end of this season. Is that an overreaction? Is that a
I don't think that's an overreaction. He's
no?
one of the,
Right, so let me change it. Let me change it. He should win Coach of the Year is the overreaction. Maybe, maybe not.
He should win it.
He should win it. He should be Coach of the Year.
I'm looking at the other.
I mean, most of the new coaches. I mean, he's obviously the best. Coach of the Year, no brainer. Absolutely, it's an overreaction statement, but yeah. I mean, if you look at the other first-time head coaches, he's dominated all the other first-time coaches in performances. But yeah, I mean, you think back to the day he was hired, and how that opening press conference went, and how everybody was so against him, and his bumbling and stumbling on his words and his script there that he was reading from. But no, I know you're joking, George. I absolutely know you're joking. If you go back to that and how everyone was against him, I actually, was okay with him after that press conference. He wasn't who I wanted, but I was okay with him after that press conference. Everybody had written us. We were being predicted to win 3-4 games. We've gone from 4 wins last year to 9, maybe 10 wins this year, going from nowhere near the playoffs, no expectations for the playoffs, to being a playoff team. I mean, I don't think there's a team that has had a turnaround this quickly this year like the Eagles did. So, I mean, he's got to be in the conversation realistically, but overreaction-wise, he should win it, in my opinion.
No, I mean, I kind of disagree. I think he should be. I think he should be definitely there and mentioned. I don't think he should win it because I believe there's a coach in Tennessee that has lost the number 1 running back in the NFL and lost arguably the number 1 wide receiver of the 2010s, Julio Jones. And they're 11-5 and leading the AFC. They're the number 1 seed right now at this point. I think Vrabel deserves it.
I could get behind that.
That doesn't preclude Sirianni from being in the conversation, though. I definitely think out of all the new coaches and the young coaches and being a first-time coach and what he's had to deal with in this city, especially how it started out when we were all laughing at the guy, after his press conference, I feel that he's now he's definitely done a 360 in everybody's mind. I mean, even the haters are starting to come around. So I agree with you, Phil. He's definitely there.
I was trying to go through my old tweets and find my tweets from the day he was hired. But there's so many things with Nick Sirianni's name tagged on my profile that it was very hard for me to get through them all, and I couldn't find it. But the guy has proven to be a resilient head coach in his first year. So hopefully he can. That'd be a 180. Of course, always with the jokes there. Absolutely. All right, Mark, Nick Sirianni, Coach of the Year.
Yes. Listen, he's more than doubled the win total. He's grown in the role. And I'll be honest with you, when I first saw him, I thought it was a really bad hire. He's really he's won me over. He's pushing all the right buttons. He's adapting. He's not, square peg, round hole type of guy. Like his playbook says he should do this, there she do it. He's working with the talent that he has. He's making it fun to be an Eagles fan, to be an Eagles player. The games are fun. Who else is out there?
I'm actually looking at the I'm looking at the box, the NFL football standings right now, and I'm going through teams that, in my opinion, I can't even name all their coaches. Teams that have exceeded expectations that would be in consideration. Who's the Bengals head coach? I mean, they're 10-6 in the playoffs. Who?
Zach Taylor, Press Taylor's
Zach
brother.
Taylor. I mean, you can consider him for coach of the year. I mean, 10-6 with a young quarterback coming off an ACL tear, Jamar Chase. It's been a while since the Bengals have won that division. I agree with Jason on the Titans. That would be a consideration in my mind. But outside of that, I mean, maybe you give it to LaFleur in Green Bay. All the controversies surrounding Aaron Rodgers before the season. Outside of that, maybe even Cowboys. Maybe Mike McCarthy gets a vote or two for winning that division and having 11 wins. But honestly, there are not that many. We keep going back to the Texans. Come on now. There's not that many coaches that have exceeded expectations for their team. So, I think I can get behind, realistically that Nick Sirianni could finish in the top 3. No doubt.
Absolutely. I mean, I think you just said it perfectly. What's this?
I don't know. I'm just taking that right down. I don't even know.
Something
What's
about
up, Jeremy? It's great to see you awake on a morning. Good to see you back. George is saying the Texans because they shouldn't have had a single win this year. I mean, that's fair. I can see that. How many wins did the Texans finish? They got 4 wins now. Okay. At this point, why'd they even try to win any games? They should have just tanked for playoff positioning. If I'm a voter, I think every single person that has a vote in the NFL for Coach of the Year, that he should be 1, 2, or 3 on every single person's ballot. And that's not an overreaction statement. I think that's a legit statement right there.
Can we just talk about you mentioned the Bengals? Can we just talk about them for 1 second? Like,
absolutely,
he obviously deserves to be in the conversation because he's obviously first-time coach and what he's doing with that team. But don't forget that team has insane amount of weapons. I mean, I'm looking at the numbers here. Jamar Chase, 79 catches, 1,400 yards in his first year.
Yep.
Okay. Now, obviously, Joe Burrow played with Jamar Chase at LSU, so that has something to do with him having success. But then you look at T. Higgins, who has 74 catches for 1,000 yards. And then, oh, by the way, Tyler Boyd, 67 catches, almost 900 yards. We have 3 wide receivers that could have 1,000 yards in that offense. And they're all 24 years or younger. That's insane to me.
And they're all locked up for the next 2 years. They're all on rookie deals, and they're all going to be there for a very long time.
I love Joe Burrow too. He's got a set of balls. I like him a lot, and he's got swagger, and hopefully he puts the Steelers and the Ravens and the Browns in their place. I'd like to see the Bengals kind of overtake that division for the next couple of years and put the other guys out to pasture. I think that could happen too.
Jason, you basically gave George a layup here because now he wants to get back to the talk on a franchise quarterback. You basically set him up with all this Joe Burrow hype that you're giving.
Okay, how many Joe
I'm going to drop that comment there.
How many Joe Burrows are out there?
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. I'm on board. Yeah.
George can come back with that, but my point is okay. Then we'll be waiting another 6 years then, because you're not going to get Joe Burrow's come around once every 10 years. I mean,
there's nobody there's nobody in this draft that's a Joe Burrow or a Justin Herbert. There's nobody in the draft right now.
Right.
And you have Hurts, and you can have him for another few years at a reduced cost or low cost. Ride him out. Out.
I agree. I agree. And he's actually played better and gotten better. There may be some franchise guys in 2023, maybe. We'll have to see. But then again, you also move the picks to 2023. I'm still on board with moving one potentially, but we'll have to see how that all plays out. We have to trust Howie with trades and draft picks because let's be honest, Howie cleaned up on the trades with draft picks last year. So, getting the fact that we have 3 this year, and now there is a scenario where a whole bunch of teams have to win this upcoming weekend, and the Dolphins lose, then the Dolphins pick gets back into the top 10, which brings in a whole array of quality players with that 10th pick. And if we get the 10th or 11th pick in the first round, then I'm almost even more willing to move one of those picks into 2023 because you're going to get a Hamilton, that safety from Notre Dame, or someone of that quality with that 10th or 11th pick. So I'm absolutely okay with it. George wants to move too. I don't know.
I know you don't want to hear this, but you've actually mentioned it on numerous shows that don't be surprised if the Eagles take a wide receiver again.
I'm still there.
Here's my question to you: are there any wide receivers like Jamar Chase in this draft? I know we're saying
I don't know. I know there's some that are being projected to go in the top 15, 20, like several wide receivers. Whether they're the elk of this. I mean, let's be honest. This past year, you had Waddle, you had Chase, and you had Smith all go in the top 15 of that, top 12 of that draft, and they all deserve to. But the year before, you had the Judys and you had the Ruggs, you had other guys, and they just didn't pan out. I think if I'm not a huge draft guy, so I don't know the X's and O's till Mel Kiper starts putting out his mock drafts, and I start really reading into it in the offseason. But from what I've heard, I think this year's draft is more like the previous year with Judy and Ruggs, that level of talent versus the Chase, the guys of that level. So there's no playmaker of that ilk in this draft, in my opinion.
Got it. I was just curious because I haven't really.
I could be wrong because again, I haven't dove into the X's and O's like others have. Speaking of franchise quarterbacks in the draft, I mean, I know he's not a franchise quarterback, but he was probably going to be a top 15 or 20 pick this year. Matt Corral, the quarterback who got hurt really bad. He's probably going to fall because he played in the bowl game. He got hurt really bad. I think it was the Ole Miss or one of the mid-level colleges there. Got hurt this past weekend really bad, and now he's probably going to fall to the third or fourth round at least. So Kirk Herbstreit, his whole statement about players quitting on their team in the bowl games, he went through and played. Now he probably cost himself a couple $1 million in incentives and in a rookie contract by playing in that bowl game. So I feel bad for that kid because again, quarterbacks get drafted early whether they're worth it or not, and he definitely cost himself a first-round pick with that injury.
Yeah, and then you got Kenny Pickett, right?
Yeah, Kenny Pickett. Yeah, there's a Pittsburgh or Cincinnati, whatever it is. See, I don't even know what teams these guys are from. So,
well, he's a local guy too, so that would be kind of a nice story for him to see him get drafted. I don't know where he'll go, but I know back in probably early last year he was probably rated to go in the top 10. So I don't know where he's at. Like I said, I'm not a draft guy.
I'll get draft guys on the morning show throughout the offseason once we get into that. But it's more we're talking about the the picks and stuff like that. All right, let's get back to this team that we're on right now. Jonathan Gannon, for as bad of a first half defensive coordinator as he is, he makes adjustments just like Nick Sirianni does. Why can't Jonathan Gannon come out aggressive in the first half like he does in the second half? What again? I mean, it goes back to the same thing with Nick Sirianni in the play calling. Jonathan Gannon. There's the talk this past week that he's on a short list of head coaching candidates, this offseason that he's going to get interviews. Bye-bye. I know that's what you're saying, Jason. But let's be honest, his second half coaching, you could see some potential with him. Obviously the talent isn't on this defense. Are we overreacting to how bad of a coach Jonathan Gannon is? That's the question. Mark.
No. I'm not a Gannon guy.
No, drop the mic, walk away.
Yeah. What really pissed me off yesterday, and little hair I have on my head I was pulling out, is the play before the first half field goal for the Washington. He legitimately rushed one player. There was one player rushing. Everybody was dropped into coverage. Get some pressure, tackle them. And then it's not a 55-yard field goal. You got to punt or take a knee, and you don't put those points on the board. It's a very passive way of playing defense that, and I might have said this on a couple shows already. It just doesn't fit the theme of the NFC East and the Northeast corridor of football teams. I don't get it. This is the second defensive coordinator in a row that we have now that is just doesn't believe in a blitz or pressure to get to the quarterback, and it's very frustrating. It's not what I'm accustomed to. It's not what a lot of Eagles fans are accustomed to. And while I do understand things change over time, damn, rush the friggin' quarterback. Put some pressure. Get their hands in the face. Do some stump blitz. Something. Like it just, I'm kind of over this guy, and he may end up losing a really important game, either the playoff game or some games next year that are really going to put a big spotlight on him. He is not. I don't think he is a good coach, and
Okay. I gotta address that. 'Cause first off, the play you're talking about when they only rushed one, I think it was Fletcher Cox. Me and my brother, we're sitting in here watching the game, and we just looked at each other like, was there literally only one guy on the? We're like, I don't think I've ever, even on a Hail Mary play, I don't think I've ever seen that. And we're like, seriously, like there's something seriously wrong there with this guy. That he's only rushing one guy. I just couldn't imagine it. And you bring up last two coaches. I don't think I've ever thought I'd be pining to have Jim Schwartz back as our Sticks defense was bad, but blitzing one guy and having all 10 other guys back makes Sticks defense look like a good philosophy. But I do want to address this here because this is kind of where I was going with my question. Jason can answer the question in a second. Of course, we're overreacting. Imagine if we had taken Parsons instead of Devontae Smith. You give him some weapons. You have Micah Parsons on this defense. Is he all of a sudden better? If you have a real pass rush, a real linebacker or defensive end, is he all of a sudden a little bit better? He may actually be a little bit better if he has more talent. You lose Brandon Graham early in the season. You're stuck using Derek Barnett every single play. He might be better. There's a lot of X factors maybe that went into him being not quite as good as he could be. Jason.
I got to disagree with you because I'm looking on the other side of the ball with Nick Sirianni and what he's done with very little weapons. And he's improved this offense tremendously from last year's Doug Peterson-led offense, which is basically the same offense with just Devonta Smith. So, and to me, one player, especially a rookie wide receiver in a league where 95% of rookie wide receivers struggle, the norm is not Jamar Chase and the norm is not Justin Jefferson. The norm is actually lesser than Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith is overplayed what the norm is. So my disagreement is I think Jonathan Gannon needs to go. And there's one other player on this team that I will be so happy when this team says goodbye. I will be the happiest man alive, and that's Derek Barnett. Because the guy sucks. I'm sick and tired of the excuses that are made for this guy that, Derek Barnett's a good player. No, he's not. Okay? He's supposed to be your bread and butter defensive end. The guy has 2 sacks. I don't want to hear that it's more than the numbers. The guy stinks. Bye-bye, Derek Barnett. Sorry. Gone.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you guys.
That fumble in that Super Bowl, though. So
okay, that's fine, and that's fine. Nick Foles won a Super Bowl, but I don't want him on the team now.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you guys. I think Jonathan Gannon might be getting a little bit too much. And I've bashed him. I've said fire him. I said fire him during the bye week. I said fire him mid-game at halftime before. But an overreaction statement for me is he might not be as good. And if we know Howie won't do it, but if Howie drafts 3 first-round talents, and nails 2 of the 3 correctly, and he gets a safety, a linebacker, a new edge rusher in here. I mean, maybe Jonathan Gannon can run the system he really truly wants to run. I don't know, Mark. What were you going to say there?
I mean, that could change things. That can definitely change things. But like, if he would draft Parsons and then just played the soft cover and didn't utilize him in the spots where he could excel, I mean, it would be even more glaring. Is he going to get fired? He's not going to get fired. Is he going to be hired as a head coach? No, he's not going to be hired as a head coach either. If they give him those players and you still see this passive-aggressive defense next year that give up those big, long plays, then you got to start thinking, maybe it really is the scheme. And I don't get this guy. And for the sheer fact that his smugness on the sideline and the sunglasses and how he calls the defense, like he's clicking off all the buttons of hating this guy. And he has a lot of work to do to kind of get me to buy in on what he's doing, because he's I don't think he's it. I don't think he's it.
Okay.
And that's it.
I mean, it's very possible. I mean, we'll see how it goes, in the offseason with what kind of talent they bring in. And I want to address, the Derek Barnett thing too. What's up, Sage? Thanks for checking in, brother. The Derek Barnett thing, I mean, he's bad. I agree. He's a bust for a first-round player. But again, Derek Barnett's rookie deal when he was not Dirk Barnett, Brandon Graham, when he was a rookie and on his first few years on this team, he was not good. People considered him a bust as well. And look what kind of a player he turned into. I'm not saying Dirk Barnett can turn into that type of player, but Dirk Barnett's issue is discipline. That's all. He makes stupid mistakes. He still rushes the passer better than anybody else on the team right now. Let's be honest. I mean, I know Josh Sweat the last 2 weeks has had really good games, but he still does get after the quarterback. He doesn't get home. And Mark, you said a few minutes ago about getting your hands up. Did you see it was a third or fourth down play? Ryan Kerrigan was rushing Tyler Henneke. It was early in the game. And literally 2 seconds before Ryan Kerrigan before Tyler Henneke got rid of the ball, Ryan Kerrigan dropped his hands to give Tyler Henneke a clear lane to throw. It's like 101, like, old NFL rules where you could hit the quarterback after one step or whatever. Dirk Barnett in the 80s or 90s would have been a great player. But because of the way of protecting the quarterback, he gets some of these hits, these fouls called on him because, it's just a new way of the NFL. But if he was playing in a different era, he might be considered a really good defensive end.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, like he's a first round bust, but you're comparing him to Brandon Graham. Brandon Graham had some intangibles that I don't see Derek Barnett ever showing. Brandon developed into a team leader, and he played the run really, really well. Does Derek do any of that stuff? Have you seen him out front being a leader? Have you seen him stuff the run? Like, he's fairly one-dimensional, and unfortunately not very good at that dimension that he's.
And I agree with you guys. He's going to be gone. I mean, he's going to be gone. There's no doubt about it. You're not going to keep him under the contract that he has, at least, because he did sign a 4-year extension this past year. But the second, third, and fourth year were all voidable because it was a lot of money. So he's gone. But that just goes to show you get rid of Dirk Barnett. Ryan Kerrigan obviously isn't going to be back. That just goes to show we need a wide receiver. We also need to draft an edge rusher. It's a really, really important thing. So us wanting safeties and cornerbacks and linebackers, there's a lot more holes on this team. And you know how he loves to draft interior linemen, offensively and defensively, and just linemen in general. That's where he's going to spend those draft picks on positions that we don't really want, but positions that he's probably more likely to do because of his track record. So real quick, let's get to some of the final points in this show. First off, next week, game against the Cowboys. We talked at the open. Meaningless game. It was moved to Saturday night. I know George said at the beginning of the show, thanks for flexing the game to Saturday night. I'm glad the game is mostly meaningless because there's nothing I hate more than 8:15 start times on any day of the week. I don't know if you guys agree with me on that, but us old guys, it's tough to stay up till 11:30 and then get to sleep and wake up for shows the next day. Do you think Do you think the NFL? I mean, there was a point a few years ago where all games the last week of the year were 1 or 4 o'clock on Sundays. Do you think they should go back to that? Because it kind of puts whoever plays on Monday Night Football or on Saturday night at an advantage or a disadvantage over the rest of the teams. You guys agree or disagree with that? Jason?
I got to agree with what you said, but I'm and that's kind of why I'm wishing that this game wasn't a meaningless game, because I get more, obviously I'm excited to watch games that mean something. And Eagles-Dallas, to me,
You got to look at that then.
an Eagles-Dallas game that means nothing sucks to me, because I'd
It's
rather.
Dallas week. You should be fired up. It's Dallas week. But yeah, you care less.
No, because I remember back in 2017, the meaningless game against Dallas, when
Right.
I forget who started that game. It was Nick Foles, I believe, and
Yep.
I think they lost that game. It was all backups. I just remember watching it.
It was a 6-0 loss, and Nate Sudfeld came in and played the second half.
It was Nate Sudfeld came in, but I just remember watching it, and I know what you're saying. Yes, it's easy to get hyped no matter what because it's Dallas, and that's true. But the fact that the game doesn't mean something takes a lot away from it, and that to me is frustrating.
Well,
it doesn't make sense to me if the league knew that, why they would flex the game. Because to me, why not flex a game that meant something to that spot?
Well, I think it's going to mean something again for the Cowboys. on their positioning and they won't know what the outcomes are of the other games. So that's probably why they did that. But it's a one-sided, meaningful game. Now, Sirianni needs to come in and make a decision. Does he go all out to try to beat them, which I think he should, or does he rest starters and do a couple different things? I think you should always play to win the game. That's why I never really agreed with tanking that game last year that Peterson did. And honestly, if us winning screws up whatever plans the Cowboys may have for the playoffs, then let's do it. I mean, then it's about Sirianni making it a meaningful game for the people in that building. I don't think it's going to be that hard for them to do that.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. What are we really resting for? It's Overreaction Monday, and I know we keep joking Super Bowl bound here, Super Bowl run here, but let's be realistic. There's no Super Bowl run coming here. Are you resting them for the playoff? It's not like there's 4 or 5 more games, on the horizon. There's 2 games most likely, and that's it, and then the season's over. You're not saving them for a deep run most likely. But yeah, it's just frustrating. And then going to the following week with the playoffs, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not a fan of them having a Monday Night Football game in Wild Card Round weekend, because whoever wins that game is now going to be at a disadvantage, and have one less day to prepare for the second round of the playoffs. And I really hope the Eagles don't get stuck playing on that Monday Night Football. But if it's Tom Brady, they might see Tom Brady, if that's who the Eagles play, and be like, all right, let's put Tom Brady versus, on primetime Monday Night Football for the ratings. And I just really, I don't want to. And then you got the Tom Brady getting revenge against the Eagles. It's a built-in storyline that can gain ratings, and I just don't want it. And I don't like the Monday Night Football game.
They would never put Tom Brady at a disadvantage with a short.
That's true.
I would never. I would not see that happen. However, I would like the Eagles playoff game to be the Nickelodeon game, because that would be total fun.
Oh. Do they still do that?
You know about the Nickelodeon game, right?
I heard about it, but wasn't one of the Detroit Lions former wide receivers one of the guys? Nate Burleson was on it. I totally forgot that was even a thing.
It was a pretty cool broadcast. I hope the Eagles is the Nickelodeon game.
Yeah, I don't think it still goes on regular TV, because I don't get Nickelodeon.
It does.
Because I'm not watching Nickelodeon. I'm not able to watch Nickelodeon. Jason, do you like them having a wild card game on Monday Night Football?
Have they ever done that before?
Nope, it's first time doing it this year.
Yeah, I don't like it. I think it's weird.
It is weird.
Why change what's worked forever? Like, I know it's money. I get that.
All about the money. You know how much more money
Monday night,
paying for that?
a Monday night playoff game. That's just weird. Yeah.
Rounds, but yeah, no.
Did they do away with the Saturday playoff games?
No, there's still going to be a Saturday. Remember, there's an extra game now because of the 7th playoff team, and there's only one tie, so there's 3 games on each side of the coin instead of 2. So now you can have 2. They'll probably do 3 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday. I don't know how they're breaking it down exactly, but yeah, they're going to have 2 on Saturday, 1 on Monday.
I hope the winner of that Monday Night Football game doesn't play the winner of a Saturday football game, because that is a big disadvantage in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Getting those 2 extra days rest. I don't agree with the Monday Night Football playoff game either. I'm with you guys. I wish it would go away. I don't like the 17-game schedule. I don't think that's smart for football either. I think there are other ways that you could have extended the season with multiple bye weeks and still have 16-game season, but you could have more broadcasts as a result. But I don't know. Greed.
Yeah. It's all money. That's why I said it the other day that, well, and it's almost like an overreaction statement, but not really, is that, while we the fans hate Roger Goodell, while the players are not fans of Roger Goodell, the owners absolutely love Roger Goodell, because Roger Goodell has turned the profitability of the NFL in the last 5-10 years, from great, making billions to making tens of billions of dollars a year, because he's a good businessman. He knows how to get the profits up. He knows how to make those TV deals and commercial deals and advertising deals work. He makes them a shit ton of money, and there's no doubt about it. So the owners absolutely love Roger Goodell, and he will not go anywhere anytime soon, unless he chooses to or wants to, because, yeah, the guy's a marketing and money-making genius for owners, absolutely. Yeah, he's incredible at his job if you're an owner. Absolutely, 100%. Any other overreactions before we wrap this up, guys, or have we covered a majority of them here?
Overreaction. Eagles
You
are
have
going to
any
the
more?
Super Bowl.
Well, yeah. Well, we've already said that 300 times. Eagles are going to the
I'm
Super Bowl.
saying it again.
Yeah, say it one more time.
The most dangerous football team in the NFL right now.
I love it. I love it. I actually think that's a great statement. Period. Not just an overreaction. I think that's a great statement. Period. There. The Eagles. Yeah, I'm going to close it out with that statement, Mark. I'm going to say that Tampa Bay's probably already doing their research on the Eagles right now because that's the most likely outcome where they have to play. Tampa Bay's going to have to be scared. No more Antonio Brown. Maybe no Fournette. I like that. We're going to end that right there. DSM Media is where you guys are watching this show. Trending in the AM live every morning, 8:30 a.m. Monday through Friday. We'll be back tomorrow with non-overreactions, with real talk and real breakdown. Make sure you hit that follow, subscribe button. And again, as always, we're brought to you by Manscaped, the leader in men's grooming products. Check them out. Manscaped.com, promo code trending at checkout. Get 20% off and free shipping. This is Trending in the AM. I am Phil Stifley. Follow me at Bearded Knowledge on Twitter. My man Jason Voorhees at Mustang3651, and my man Mark Moscatelli, aka Philly Eagles fan, at Mark with a C Moscatelli. One of the best Italian follows on Twitter right there, Mark Moscatelli. There you go. Throw some Italian love out there. Anyway, everybody have a great day, a great Monday. Let's get ready. It is Dallas week. Somehow we'll find a way to get hyped for Dallas week this week. We'll bring up some more Eagles Dallas talk throughout the week. Everybody have a great Monday, and go Birds.
Go Birds.
Super Bowl bound.